Peninsula camera and welcome to Live at 11. Today I'm introducing the new EM10 Mark IV and the comparisons between that and the EM10 Mark III. This is not the normal situation where I would be selling you a camera. I'm just showing you the differences between the two. If you want to know more about the camera, I can do that, and I can do that on another day where I'd run through all the features of these amazing cameras. But this is just the comparison between the two. Reason for that, because I also want to get to something else, and hopefully I have time where I get to talk about Rode microphones. So hang around a little bit. I want to talk about the Wireless Go and how it can work with different systems and things like that. But I'll get to that. So firstly, I want to go through the EM10 Mark III versus the 4. I've got a little bit of a cheat sheet here. It's a big cheat sheet. I suppose, first of all, there is a price difference. So the new camera is $500 more expensive. So we got $999 on the EM10 Mark III and $1499 on the new EM10 Mark IV. The major difference, the black versus silver, don't worry about that. You can get this in silver as well. It just hasn't arrived to our store yet. So this is an easy way to tell the difference between the two cameras when we look at them side by side. EM10 Mark III, EM10 Mark IV in black. So the first difference you see is there's a bit more of a grip on this down here, which does feel quite nice. It feels nice in the hand. That's the first thing, noticeable difference. It is also lighter. I wouldn't say leaps and bounds, but you can feel the difference if you have them side by side. If you didn't, you wouldn't really notice it. It's only a small difference in weight difference. But this EM10 Mark IV is a little bit lighter. As far as features go, first thing, and probably I find it to be quite an exciting thing, is USB charging. So this will allow you to charge from your car, charge from a power bank if you're camping or anything like that. I find that quite a good feature, and all their cameras now have it. So EM10 Mark III doesn't, but the EM10 Mark IV and above now all have USB charging, which is pretty cool. Downside of that is, I said I'm not doing the unboxing in the description there because I think that's a stupid thing to do. I did look in the box though. So in the box there is a USB only charger, so it doesn't come with a separate module, so you can pop the battery into that and charge it. Disadvantage of that is if you're running two batteries. So if you run in two batteries where you can have one on charge while you're using the camera, that would be the advantage to having a separate charger, which you can buy separately, but it doesn't come with that. So that is a disadvantage, but the advantage of having the USB built-in charger kind of works like your mobile phone. Just plug it in and you're done. Charging in the car, not a problem, as I said, and charging by a power bank, I think that's a big advantage and pretty good. I would have liked it to come with a separate charger as well, so that you can have two batteries, be charging them both at the same time, so that if say you had an event that you had to go to and you forgot to charge your batteries, you can whack one on the charging module, the block type thing, where you take it out separately, and the camera you can plug into a power bank and start charging, or plug it into your mobile phone charger, and then when you go into the event, plug that into the car as well. So I think it's a good thing, a good advantage, but unfortunately they didn't pack it with the charger. The battery does last a little bit longer. You probably, realistically, it's not in specifications, but realistically you're probably going to get another 50 to 100 shots out of it. They do specify it quite low because they don't want people coming back and saying, hey, I only got 330 shots out of it, yet you said 500. So they quote low because they don't want people coming back and arguing the point. If you use the screen more, you go through your menus more, you're going to get less shots. when you pull them out of the box, you definitely get less shots as well. You start to use them and you start to play around with the menus. When you first get the camera, you don't get 330 shots or 360 shots. It does have an upgraded sensor, and that the benefits of that, I've skipped one point there, but the benefit of that is it's better in low light, better high dynamic range, so you get higher ISOs at a better quality image, and the dynamic range is better, so better highlights and low lights as well. It's 20 megapixels versus 16 megapixels. For what does that really mean in real terms? You'll get bigger enlargements, and I've got a delivery just come in 2 seconds. Couldn't have come earlier. Thank you, Anthony. That might be the silver one now. I'm not going to look. Sorry about that. So where was I? So 20 megapixel, what does that mean in real terms? With a 16 megapixel, you're still going to get, you know, poster size prints quite comfortably. There's no issue at all with that. You know, you might get a little bit better detail. I don't think it's a major issue, but it is the same sensor that the rest of the cameras now have. So again, equal quality throughout the range. You're just getting better features and more advantages as you go up the range. Just catching my breath from running. Focusing, so it's got a faster focusing system. How that will affect you, I've tested it this morning because I've only just unboxed it myself, but I tested it this morning and tried to do comparisons. On your normal focusing, couldn't notice it at all. So on your normal single shot focusing, going from one point to another point, one point to another point, it was so small that I couldn't really tell the difference. There probably was the tiniest little bit faster on the newer model, but I couldn't see a big enough point to make it a difference. Where I did notice it though, it was a little bit faster on the continuous focus. So I used the track-in mode and I tracked it on a subject and I walked backwards and forwards quite quickly to see where it was going to drop out. The M10 Mark III dropped out a little bit more often than the 4. The 4 seemed to be quite good. Doesn't mean it's going to be as good as the higher models, but it's still very good on its tracking. Selfie screen. So the EM10 Mark III has a flip down screen, flip up screen. I quite like it. I think it's quite quick and snappy. If you want to take an overhead photo, you just flip it down. If you want to shoot from waist level, you just flip it like that. It is quite good. The new screen, still the same. However, if you want, you can take a selfie. So they're aiming this at vloggers. However, if you're hand holding the camera and shooting like that, it doesn't feel as comfortable. It doesn't feel like you've really got a good hold on the camera as if you were holding it the other way, because there's no grip on the other side. So vloggers typically will use like a monopod, a little tripod like this, and they've got a bit more of a grip on it and they'll hold it from there. But as you can see, you can't see your screen anymore. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's fine for taking selfies. You can certainly be able to take selfies with it and see what's going on. And saying that, I have had one that flips down like that and used it for selfies on cruises and things like that. So it is functional, but I wouldn't be using it as vlogging. I think it's how it's sort of made. When it's flipped down like that, also the difference between that and the more advanced models where you get a flip out screen, like the EM5 Mark II, what are we up to now? EM5 Mark III, flip around screen, you can still use your tripod socket and put it on a tripod and see what's happening, or like a vlogging type tool. So flip down screen, look, it's okay for selfies. I suppose that's what it's intended for. So it has that. Been to the grip, the frames per second, so it has a higher frame rate. These cameras have extremely high frame rate anyway. They've got a burst mode, which is 15 frames per second, which is really, really fast, versus 8.5 or 8.6, sorry. When we're looking at DSLRs and things like that, you're not going to get a 15 frames per second camera. You know, you sort of got to spend over $6,000 to get that, whereas this one comes with a 15 frames per second at the entry level. The newer camera has a quicker buffer or better buffer system, and what that means is when you're taking photos and you've taken your 15 frames, it's quite a lot of information that has to write to the card. So there's a buffer, like a hard drive, that will record those images and then write those to the memory card. And the bigger the buffer or the better the buffer, the less interruption you have. So it doesn't slow down as often, doesn't slow down as quickly when you're taking photos. There is usually in most cameras or earlier cameras, definitely a point where you're taking photos and they start to slow down or stop, whereas these are certainly better. So on RAW, which is big images, if we took RAW at 8.7 frames per second on both cameras, or 8.6 it should probably be, on both cameras, you could take your EM10 Mark III for 2 to 3 seconds before that starts to slow down, whereas the EM10 Mark IV is 6 to 7 frames per second before it slows down. The other thing is image stabilization. So on the image stabilization, it's a little bit better. It's not a great deal. It's only 0.5 of a stop better as far as its image stabilization, so you can take slightly lower speeds. And Bluetooth is probably the last thing I'll come to. Bluetooth, it has Bluetooth, whereas the EM10 Mark III doesn't have Bluetooth at all. I looked at Bluetooth coming out in cameras and the higher end cameras, and I've gone, big deal, who uses Bluetooth these days? We use Wi-Fi. Where's that advantage? Where it is it's, if you're using the Wi-Fi connection to your phone, it speeds up the process. It makes it really user-friendly, so you don't have to be tech savvy as far as getting your phone working with the camera quite as much. Once you can just go into the app and set it all up through the app, whereas the previous systems you had to go into your settings, go into your Wi-Fi, put in your password and all that sort of thing, and then every time you turn it on you seem to have to go back and do that, whereas now it just works with the app. You press on camera and it just comes up straight away. So you have to set up the first time, but once it's set up on your Bluetooth, it's really quick and easy, and it is easier to set up than it was before as well. You just go and you do it in the app via easy setup. It's quick and easy. I've done this one this morning just to see the difference in the speed, and when you turn on the app later, it just comes on straight away. You can also put the camera in standby mode for Bluetooth, so that when you want to start doing some transfer of photos, this can be powered off. Your camera can be powered off, and then you press Bluetooth on your app, or you go into your app and you press onto the maybe download or even camera mode, and then it will turn the camera on for you. So I mean, that'd be quite handy. Let's say you're taking pictures at auroras. You know, going to try to get the auroras. And you've got your camera out there and you don't want to waste too much battery, so you don't leave it on. But you might be sitting in a tent or the back of a car or something like that, where keeping warm, and you have the camera out ready to take a photo, and rather than leaving the camera on draining power, you can just be sitting there with your phone waiting for something to happen, and when you start to see it, you can hit on your camera and turn it on. So it's definitely advantages to that. Yeah. So EM10 Mark IV versus 3, $500 difference. Quite a bit of difference, but it is a newer model, and what you'll find with the newer models is there if there's any updates later on, they're more likely to come out for the newer models rather than the older models. So it's a good thing to buy the new model. I would have liked to see it closer to the $1,000 mark and have the EM10 Mark III drop down in price. But it seems that they threw too much money at the getting rid of the EM10 Mark IIs, sorry, EM1 Mark IIs with that new deal, the current deal that's on. It's only on last day today, so you have to actually make your purchase today. So lay-bys have to be paid off today, has to actually be purchased because you need your receipt from today to get that lens. You're getting a $2,000 lens when you're buying a $2,200 camera, which is amazing. So yeah, get on that. What I wanted to speak about as well, so that's it for Olympus, is wireless Go. So this is sounding like hotcakes. These are, since we've been you know, in lockdown and everyone's doing things online. Yoga teachers are using these. Anyone online to get good quality sound have been using these. They're really nice and small little wireless thingamajigs. What I do find though, they're a little bit bulky, so I'm not using one currently because I ran out of stock myself, but they're pretty much this size. So how they come set up, they come like this. You get one that has a microphone in it that sends the information to another one, a receiver, and you can clip this on your lapel here, but it's quite large and bulky. So what I tend to do and what I recommend is using, actually there's a picture on the side there if you can see that. It's quite large on there. I'd recommend a lapel because it looks a lot neater, it's not as noticeable. So you can run a lapel to this as well. There's a few ins and outs, and this is the problem with these. People will buy these, they'll buy them online. I've had click and collect type things. Without the right information, you might not be able to get it set up to how you want. So it depends on your application. It's not a matter of just buying this and you're done. There's a lot of ins and outs. So I had a yoga teacher buy one of these, and they wanted to use it with their mobile phone. So it's not a matter of just buying this and you're done. You plug it into your mobile phone, you're done. It's not. There's a lot more to it. So you need extra cables and all sorts of things. So I got my whiteboard here. Let's go through this and see how I go. So you've got your wireless Go. So let's put Go over here. Then you've got, so this has a transmitter and receiver. So it's going to send, so this would be your mic setup. So this would be your transmitter. So let's just put T for transmitter. And then you have your receiver. So this is sending a signal to the receiver. That's all neat and works very, very well. What do we want to put this into? We have to put it into something. It doesn't record the sound onto any memory, so you need to put it into something. How it comes set up is to put it into your camera. So this is my very basic camera. That's how it comes set up. It works very well. You don't have to buy anything else. You're done. However, if you want to put it into your mobile phone, so let's do my mobile phone here. Don't know how to draw a mobile phone these days. Let's pretend it's got numbers, so it looks like a phone. Let's make it really old school. It's got an aerial. Anyway, if you want to put it into your phone, you need something in between, because the cord that comes out of this is what we call a TRS. And TRS, basically the way to tell the difference between it, the TRS versus TRRS. So this needs a TRRS. The difference between it, you've got your mic jack, so let's draw a mic jack. So this is really testing my drawing abilities. So you've got your mic jack, and out of here you've got 1, 2, 3 sections, and because this is too thick it's very hard to draw this, but that's one continuous part. So how it looks is like that. So you've got 3 sections being T, R, S, 3 sections. If you looked at a mic jack that goes into your mobile phone, which looks like this one, the grey one has 4 sections. So it has it's the same length, but it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, which is T, R, R, S. So if we want to go from there to there, we need to spend, we're just going to call round numbers, $20 extra to go from there to there. So that would then plug into your mobile phone, be a TRRS, so it's actually called a SC4 adapter you can buy, or you can get rid of the cable that comes with this and get a SC7 adapter to go into there. So it's just that cable there, which is SC7 adapter, and then you're not using the cable that comes with this to then hook into your phone. If you want to go into a computer, so let's draw our computer. It's a laptop. All right, so you want to go into your computer from here. Haven't done this very well, but we want to go into our computer. How it comes is fine, but you do need one other cable. So you need a splitter. You need a splitter to come out of your computer, which is just another cable. It's a cable that you can, I actually don't sell them, but JCar have them for about $8, I think, $7.95. So you need a splitter to come out of the computer. It won't be just plug and play. So you can't just plug it into your computer and you're done. It doesn't work that way. I haven't found a computer myself that does it, just works. You need to go and do it in settings. Works different from Mac as it does from PC, so it's not just simple, but it does work and it's very good. So you'd need a splitter if you wanted to do that. On this end of it, so back to the module itself, if you want to plug a microphone into it, the microphone setup, generally, like if you bought a lapel mic from Rode, the cheaper lapel mics, the ones that are at $99, are made for phones. So you need a adapter, which is the SC3, which will turn your TRRS, which is the microphone that it comes with, into your TRS. If you bought one of these ones, which is one that I've used in the past, this one comes with both, so it's actually set up to do both. So it will work fine either way. It's just got a little battery section in it, which I'll show you. The difference is, and the lady I sold one to on the weekend, I recommended to go with the Rode with the SC3 adapter because this is quite bulky. This is all the gear that comes with the boa or boa. This little module here has a battery in it, so you can flick that on from smartphone to camera, and then it will be not powered to powered. So this will work both ways, but you need to have that, and that's a pretty cheap alternative. So it's definitely cheaper, $69.95 versus $120 by the time you buy everything you need from Rode. Why do they do it this way? Don't exactly know. It's definitely got something to do with the microphones and all that sort of thing, but They actually do sell proper lapel mics for this, but they're quite expensive. I think they're above a couple $100, which you sort of become your broadcast type microphones. So you can buy the proper mics for that. However, if you didn't want to, you can certainly save yourself some money. So the reason for buying the Rode, and the reason I recommended the Rode to this particular lady, is because the cable's only quite short. So it's only really just enough to go from this to your lapel, which is all you really need. And it means you haven't got this extra cable to be trying to find somewhere to put in your Lycra gear when you're doing yoga. So yeah, thought I'd give you a rundown on that, because the problem with buying these and buying stuff online, it's not always just plug and play. It's not always just simple. Sometimes you need, rather than you going out and doing all the research on your own, figuring this out, or pulling your hair out when you're about to go live and going, I can't work it. That's what we're here for. So buy from a store that knows what they're doing. So anyway, that's about all I'm going to discuss. I talked really fast today because I wanted to get through both of those things. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to ask. The idea of this whole system is that I can show you how to do things, show you how to do things live. And if I have customer inquiries throughout the week, I can say, come on here, I can show you how to do it. I did have one, but I think we nutted it out during the week, which was someone had their camera stuck on RAW, so it wouldn't do the Wi-Fi connection, or wouldn't send the photos from their camera to their phone. And without really knowing, because I can't see the camera and it's not in front of me, I just suggested it would be on RAW. So I talked them through how to get it off RAW, and I will actually just show them, just in case they didn't, because I didn't hear back, it was only recently. Very simple. If you've got your camera on RAW, you'll see it on the side here, RAW. You can press OK, and then you can go up and down with your toggle switch here down to RAW, and then you just press across and you can go onto large superfine. And large superfine is the highest quality JPEG. Then you'll be able to transfer your photos to your phone via that. There is another way to do it, but it's not via Wi-Fi. So if you have taken your pictures on RAW or you want to continue taking your pictures on RAW and get them to your phone, you can use an adapter for SD card adapter to then go into your phone and transfer your RAW images that way. But yeah, or just use JPEG. So that's me for today. I hope you enjoy your week. I'll see you next week. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call on 97814677. I'm here from 10 till 3 every day, every weekday. So still doing click and collect and still processing on Fridays, film processing. We will do, sometimes we're running on Mondays as well, but it just depends on our workload. We are getting a little bit busier now, so we're running more than once a week at the moment. Just depends. It's going to fluctuate obviously in these times because we can't open the door. All right, see you later.